Good evening, welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Showman. On the program this evening, a joyous return to India for the 46 Indian nurses held captive in Iraq and several others desperate to get out of the war-torn country. We'll bring you the stories of the nurses when they were held in captivity by the terrorist group ISIS, and also reflect on the desperate situation of the 39 Indian workers who are still being held captive in Mosul. We'll also be joined live by NDTV's Amitabh Brevi from Erbil in Afghanistan. He's been bringing us the stories of the nurses as they were released. Amitabh has been the only Indian television journalist within an hour of the war zone, right where it's all happening. But first, our top story. For the families of the 46 Indian nurses whose lives were on the edge, today was a huge day for celebration. The ordeal of their near and dear ones is over. They're back home, returning on board a special Air India aircraft.
A two-week nightmare ending in this dramatic walk into freedom amidst politicians and paparazzi. An emotional homecoming for the 46 nurses rescued from war zone Iraq. They were brought home on a special aircraft arranged by the Indian government.
You're absolutely thrilled and happy, I can see.
Yes.
Okay, what do you have to say to us at this stage? What are your thoughts?
Now I am happy also.
I'm feeling very happy. First of all, I'm thanks to Manjali sir and Jos K. Mani sir, Sushma Siraj madam.
Thrilled? Are you hungry?
Yes.
Okay. Rhea happy?
Yes.
Very happy to see Amma. Yes?
9-year-old Mervin and 5-year-old Rhea are thrilled that their supermom is back. Marina Jose, a 29-year-old, says she thought she'd never see her two children again.
Really, I lost my hope last day before yesterday night. Because they told that next day morning we will move from here. So that day we didn't sleep the day before yesterday night. We can't pray even because we are not Muslims, we are Christians. So really we were worried.
Marina was among the few nurses giving constant updates about their movement, which helped the Foreign Affairs Ministry and the Kerala government track them throughout.
The journey has been too long, too tiring. From Tikrit to Mosul to Erbil and then to Kochi. A churn of emotions through this journey. What began as a dream job has turned a nightmare. What are your thoughts at this stage? Do you want to go back?
No.
Never.
So our aim is to encourage and promote youngsters to come forward with new ideas and they will use the opportunities.
The nurses are broke, so each was given 5,000 rupees in cash to meet immediate expenditure. What they, however, need now is a respectable job and a tangible, stable source of income. So do hundreds of other Indians returning home. Radhika Iyer from Kochi in Kerala with SP Babu, NDTV.
Well, joining us now live from Erbil, NDTV's Amitabh Brevi. Amitabh, that ordeal for those nurses almost seemed like it was going to continue. Even that special flight of Air India was delayed. It was flying overhead Iraq. They weren't given permission to land. Finally, it landed. They got into the plane. They got out of the country and they're safe now. But before they did that, they spoke to you about their ordeal.
Yeah, if you're talking about the delays, there were two of them, in fact, and that just, though the nurses didn't know about that. One was what you were talking about, the flight landing. Now, officially from New Delhi, we're not getting any confirmation, but what we heard is that Baghdad was not giving permission. Now, Baghdad and Kurdistan don't really necessarily see eye to eye, so that's possible. The second delay came once they had boarded, and again, we seem to have getting information that that was a technical decision not to take off. But all's well that ends well, and coming to the nurses, in fact, it was extremely touching to see how they were responding, because they were completely drained emotionally, drained physically from what they had gone through. The 3 weeks in Tikrit when they had to face crossfire around the teaching hospital compound there, then being taken by the Islamic State to Mosul, a 4-hour journey, spending a day there behind closed doors, only one of them coming out and trying to text people about where they were, and then finally, even though they were told they were being set free, just imagine they were not sure whether it was actually meant. But they did come across the border into Kurdistan, took that flight, they're back home now, extremely happy. But yes, the anguish and the happiness were mixed when we met them. So the emotions are difficult to describe, but there was certainly Marina Joes, one of them who we've been in touch with for a long time, in fact, said that she felt this was a second life for her, another chance, a new dawn.
I'm very happy. I don't know what to say. We all this second life, I think. No? Because it's only God's grace, I think. And many people help us. Many people help us and many people pray for us. So this all come together and finally.
When did they indicate that possibly you might be freed? From Mosul?
Yeah. Actually, yesterday they told next morning you are going to India. But we didn't believe that because we don't know they are taking to airport or somewhere else. Because that place actually I think everyone knows from the satellite. So we thought they are taking us to some another place. Nobody can come there like that, some place they are moving. But we called India. We were very afraid to call our parents because don't know they are seeing from some because many holes are there. So we were afraid they are watching or not. So we went to toilet, then used the phone.
Such a long journey for you, not just from Tikrit to Mosul and Mosul to Erbil, but the weeks there when there was so much fighting. How did everyone come together to give each other strength?
Actually, we all were very afraid because the bomb blast, there was bomb blast that once in a while only. But this month, last month, it was more every day. And this last week, it became worse. So I told you, yesterday they came, not yesterday, yeah, yesterday. Yesterday they came, they told move very fast. They are going to blast this hospital. So we didn't believe that. But I think they did, sometimes we feel like that they did something good for us. Even though what they are doing everybody knows, but still I think they help us. They didn't harm us. And when we went out the hospital, within 1 hour, our hospital they blasted. So if we didn't obey them, I don't know, these 46 members will not be here.
But you must have been all sisters in this really difficult situation. Sometimes locked, like you're saying, from outside, not being able to go out, not being able to communicate. How did all of you group together and give each other?
Actually, we all were staying together.
Yes.
So there was problem with air condition. Since 1 week we don't have air condition, so it was too hot, the climate, very difficult to sleep and do our normal things. And since 1 week, everywhere bomb blast. So we, from 28th, their fasting started. So there was no one to cook for us. So we started our own self-cooking. But that also sometimes not we can't because the bomb blast. We are running away from the floor. We are going to the basement. So we not bother about our food because we cannot concentrate. Anytime can happen anything. So we just go there and here. Our normal life disturbed.
Completely. Again, when they were taking you from Tikrit to Mosul, they were saying they are taking you to safety. You weren't sure about that.
They didn't say they're taking for our safety, but we understood that because from our hospital, the local people, they called after we left from there after 2 hours, they called. They all asked, where were you? So by the time only we got to know that was the plan. They told the hospital blasted. So we thought actually they evacuate us from there. That's why they forced. 2 days they asked, we refused, but the 3rd day they forcibly evacuate us from there.
Did they indicate that maybe they wanted you to work in a hospital in Mosul or anything like that? No.
No, they didn't say anything. Before they told they are taking us to Mosul hospital, but yesterday we went there, they didn't ask anything.
How were they communicating with you? Was there a translator? Or?
They don't know English. There were one Bangladeshi, so he knows bit Arabic, so he translates for us. Now only we are smiling, since 1 month we no enjoyment, nothing. We were worried because we never thought we will come out. The bomb blast is happening around our hospital, and near our hospital also the construction happening one building. That also they blasted. So every moment we were worried.
Right.
Don't know next minute what will happen.
And you were always in touch, or the ministry people, Indian ministry people and embassy people were in touch with you?
Yeah. Whatever happened, the same moment we called Kerala government and as well as embassy here, ambassador. So whatever happened, we asked the opinion from them, the officials. Then whatever they say, we obey. The first time they also told 2 days, don't go with them, because nobody knows what they are going to do. So they also told, don't go. But no one can reach the place. Nobody can evacuate us. So there is no more options. So last they told, okay, no problem, obey them. We will see. Nothing will happen with you. You just obey them. Don't disagree. If we disagree, don't know what will happen. So if anyone, even single person injured also, is big loss for us. So we just obey them. Anyway, God's grace, they didn't do anything with us.
Well, as we celebrate the return of the 46 Indian nurses, let's not forget for a moment the desperate situation of the 39 Indian workers who've now been in the custody of ISIS for 2 weeks. Most of these workers are from the Punjab. The state government says they are trying their best to get them out.
It's been more than 2 weeks since Amandeep Kaur of Fatehgarh last heard from her husband Kulwinder. The family has done all it could, including a meeting with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. Today they are cautiously optimistic after the release of the Indian nurses in Iraq.
ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਸਰ 46 ਨਰਸਾਂ ਛੁਡਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਤੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੁਡਾ ਰਹੇ ਬਾਦਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੈਲਪ ਹੀ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਪਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਬਾਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਨਾ
प्रधानमंत्री और मुख्यमंत्री है दोनों एक ही साथ रहते हैं जो अपने थे तो इन लोगों को तो ज़्यादा सोचना चाहिए। केरला का मंत्री है उसने उन लोगों की जो नर्सें हैं वो हॉस्पिटल के बेसमेंट में रह रही थी, बाहर कुछ लड़ाई प्रॉब्लम चल रही थी इसीलिए वो वहाँ से नहीं निकल पाई। लेकिन जिस दिन IS वालों ने उन लोगों को किडनैप किया दूसरा दिन उन लोगों को छोड़ दिया गया।
While the release and return of the Indian nurses from Iraq has brought relief to their family members, fate of 40 Punjabis stuck in Iraq is still uncertain, and each passing day is adding to the concern and anxiety of their family members about the safety of their dear ones stuck in a foreign war-torn land.
The Punjab Chief Minister Prakash Singh Badal says the centre is doing everything that it possibly can.
बेतहा कोशिश कर रही है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और मैं भी लगातार इन कांटेक्ट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट दे भी जिहड़ा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने ऑफिसर नियुक्त किया है फॉरेन अफेयर मिनिस्ट्री ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ भी मेरा रोज टेलीफोन ਹੁੰਦਾ है और ਜਿਹੜਾ बगदाद एम्बेसडर है ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ भी मेरा तालमेल है तो दे आर ट्राइंग देयर बेस्ट और मैं वाहिगुरू अगे अरदास करदा कि वो बच्चे सारे ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਨ वो राजी खुशी अपने घरां ਚ ਆਉਣ।
For the moment, the families of the workers held captive in Iraq can only wait and watch. As each day passes, they become more anxious. Their hopes now squarely on those on the ground in Iraq who are working to bring their horror to an end. With Anand Patel in New Delhi, Akash Das Gupta for NDTV.
The 39 Indians being held captive, any details at all?
Yes. So even though there's been a happy ending to the 46 nurses and their families, they've gone back. Another 80 or so Indians who also went on that special plane back to India. There is a great worry among the Indian diplomats and they must have got back to work immediately, not rejoicing in any manner. Those 39 Indians who've been held captive for longer than the nurses in Tikrit and then in Mosul, they were also taken captive in Mosul itself. And the last, again, we're hearing officially about them is that they have been sighted and are safe, but still no word on them. So yes, that's the next big story of getting those 39 construction workers out of here. The second part of the India story in Iraq is also about workers, blue-collared workers who have problems here. Whether it's passport problems, labor issues, contractual issues, they don't have documents to go back home. They allege that companies here are mistreating them. So we did meet some of those workers who did manage to get the documents required from the government of India to go back home. And just in fact to get an idea of what it means to be in Kurdistan, either as a professional or as a worker, we joined now by Himanshu Sahasrabuddhe. He's the acting CMO, the chief marketing officer with a telecom company called Correct. Thanks so much, Himanshu, for coming in.
Thank you, Amitabh.
There's a misperception in India about Iraq. The first thing that comes to mind is a war-torn country, conflict. Why should Indians be there?
First of all, I'd like to say that Iraq and Kurdistan are two very different places. So as far as Kurdistan is concerned, it's absolutely safe. I've been on the ground for 2.5 years. I have not faced any problems. I mean, it's as safe as any other city in India.
Well, in fact, I was talking to a Peshmerga general who said the figures in crime are much lower than, say, London or Washington.
Definitely.
So I'm not even talking about the conflict here.
Definitely. I mean, I would feel safer here than I would feel safer in New York, for example. I've been to New York, and some places in New York are really no-go zones at night, but nothing like that in Erbil.
So apart from the safety also, I don't think many people in India would realize the potential that Kurdistan offers in terms of business opportunities.
Huge opportunities here. It's a country that's open for business. The government has a very positive outlook on the economy. So sectors like telecommunications, hospitality, healthcare, construction, oil and gas, of course, are open for business. They have an investment board which is functioning very well. Any businessman who wants to set up shop here, they welcome them. As far as Indians are concerned, they have a very positive outlook about Indians. They love working with Indians. I have had no issues working with the local staff. I have close to 30 people reporting into me. The outlook is very, very bullish, I would say, for the economy overall.
Very, very bullish, but just to put things in perspective, they are workers, not professionals, workers in various industries, construction, whether it's oil and refinery. Now, they are facing problems like contractual problems, labor issues.
Definitely, that's an issue, and I think that's an issue all over when it comes to Indian workers all around the world, I think. I was in Southeast Asia before, in Singapore, even there, it's the same thing. Even in Dubai, it's the same thing. So it's no different. I think what we as Indians need to do and educate our people back home is that when they are going abroad for work assignment, be very sure about where they're going, what are the arrangements they're getting into in terms of contracts. In terms of passports, I would say that try as much as possible not to hand in your passports to anybody else.
But coming from where they are, I think they find it difficult to do that. The companies keep their passports, keep their documents, and use it as some kind of a Damocles sword over them. Pun unintended, Damocles coming from Syria.
Definitely, definitely. However, I have met some Indians here as well. They have told me that conditions are not that bad here in Kurdistan again. I would not be sure about what are the conditions down south in, say, Baghdad or Najaf and Karbala, Basra. But as far as Kurdistan is concerned, I have met supervisors who are supervising Indian staff, labor staff or construction staff, and they are very happy with the Indian, the quality of work and the work ethic that we bring in with us.
Himanshu, just coming back to professionals now, when we're talking about the potential here, do you think that India, in a sense, because one, it's not aware of the situation, two, it may be misinformed about the situation in Kurdistan, could be missing the business bus, so as to speak?
Definitely, definitely. I think we need to have a more proactive approach towards Kurdistan. We need a consulate here in Erbil as soon as possible, because that would then pave the way to more business links and more commercial links. The other thing that I would encourage the government is to look at starting direct flights because currently Erbil is very well connected with Europe. There are flights to Germany, there are flights to Austria, there are flights to all the Middle East.
It's not just an oasis of peace and calm, it also could be a gateway to very many regions in the area, is what Himanshu is currently saying there. So there's a mixed bag here. Professionals find opportunities laden area, but some of the workers are finding issues here, and those are the people who are going home and are also asking the government to evacuate them from here.
All right, Amitabh, thanks very much for joining us, and do stay safe in that area as you try and bring us the very latest on how those efforts to rescue or to get out those 39 Indians who still remain in captivity in the Mosul area, just 100 kilometers from where you are. Go on. Thanks very much for joining us. Well, along with the 46 nurses who arrived at Kochi this morning on that special Air India flight were 80 workers, Indian workers, desperate to get out of their country.
No smiles, no cheer. Relieved to be back safe, but it wasn't like a happy homecoming. Yellaya in fact broke down on arrival at Hyderabad airport. If only I could have worked a few months and earned some money, I could have repaid at least half my loans, he says.
అంటే ఎట్టన్నా రా అంటే అంత బలమైనది కన్నా కానీ మన గవర్నమెంట్ ఆదుకున్నట్లే ఎంత దూరం వచ్చినాం ఏం చేసినా మన గవర్నమెంట్ ఏమన్నా కానీ
మమ్మల్ని అయితే గవర్నమెంట్ బతికించింది కాబట్టి ఈ అప్పు ద్వారా కూడా ఏదైనా ఒకటి చేసి మాకు సాయం చేయాలి. ఇక మమ్మల్ని ఇంత దూరం తెచ్చిరు కదా, అక్కడి నుంచి ఇంత కష్టపడి తెచ్చిరు కాబట్టి మాకు ఏదైనా ఆధారం చూపెడితే అదో ఏదో అప్పో సప్పో చూపెట్టి మేము నెలకు కొన్ని కట్టుకుంటాం, ఇక ఏదో తెరిపి ఏదో బతుకుతాం.
Despite the conditions in Iraq, initially it was very difficult for many of these workers to take the decision to return home because each of them had paid 1.5 lakh rupees and more to the agents to get to Iraq. The workers say life was very difficult in Iraq. They were all scared after 2 firing incidents happened at the factory where they worked. Since the 17th, they had been asking embassy officials for help to return home.
बहुत ट्राई करके अभी तो ऐसा मिल गया, कैसे भी करके अभी पहुंच गया. ये बहुत
क्या और भी लोग वहाँ पे हैं, बहुत सारे जो लोग आना चाहते हैं वापस?
हमारा कंपनी में और 50 आदमी 60 आदमी है.
सिर्फ 78 लोगों को आने की जगह
मिला थी. वो लोग को नहीं दिया था पासपोर्ट की, कुछ नहीं दिया था. वो लोग डोर बंद करके चला गया कंपनी वालों ने.
We heard similar stories and cries for help in Delhi. 18 out of 54 who reached Delhi came from Rajasthan. Others were from UP, Bihar, Punjab. The money these people earned, their families survived on them.
वहाँ लड़ाई लग गया ना सर, मैडम लड़ाई लग गया, उसकी वजह से जान बचा के आए हैं. 3-3, 4-4 महीने का हमारा पेमेंट भी उधर ही रह गया.
Official sources in government say by Monday morning, 1,200 Indians would have returned from various regions of Iraq, and at least 1,000 applications are being processed. A total of about 10,000 Indians reside in Iraq.
The number of Indians returning to India is steadily increasing. Today, all in all, 180 Indians have returned, 46 nurses in Kerala, and in Delhi, about 50 Indians. Now, they were working in Iraq as construction workers, masons and carpenters. They say to save their lives, they had to run and leave their jobs and their salaries with the companies they were working for. That's the money that these people depend on in a huge, huge way. They say they've got all assistance possible from India's embassy in Iraq, and now what they want is the government to help them in getting these salaries here in India so they could run their homes.
With Anchal Ora in Delhi, in Hyderabad, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Well, a very welcome return home for all of those people and those nurses. But again, we'll continue to keep an eye on the situation as far as other Indian nationals, many of whom are in captivity in Iraq, are concerned. We'll continue to bring you those reports. It's time now for us to take this short break. Stay tuned.